Yo, welcome back, guys, to another episode, reaction episode. I believe we're on. One second. I believe we're on episode. Yes, we're on episode 13. This is episode 13, and we're about to do. Here we go. Another Zach Sang show. Episode reaction. So, hope you enjoy this one. And yeah, let's get started with
2023 was probably the hardest year of my life in a lot of ways. Like just coming out of the band and I felt like I lost everything. I felt like I lost my built-in community, my identity, my sense of self, was hopping on the plane, wherever we're going, packing this, and that was all just gone.
Hello, beautiful human.
Yes.
I'm Zach, that's Dan. And we welcome to the studio a human being who has a bunch of new music out, a bunch of solo music out, and a human being who has never been on this couch by himself before.
It's true.
For the very first time, we welcome Jonah Marais.
It's actually pronounced Marais.
I knew you were going to butcher that.
I love you.
You know what? That's terrible.
It's okay.
Because we literally listened. You gotta understand. We listened to so many other people pronounce it before
Everyone does it wrong, so you're not alone. It's not like you are.
Right.
You're good.
To be fair, we should put it up on the screen because it is spelt very uniquely, and there is a silent S.
There is.
Like that is.
And the AI, everyone thinks Marais.
I always thought I always said Marais my whole life.
Yeah, that's the most common one. So you got closer than most people.
Well, we have nothing but time to talk just about you. So can you tell me the origins of your last name? Because I genuinely would like to know.
So, fun fact, Marais is actually my middle name. And I've always gone by that for music stuff. Since basically Grand Marais, Minnesota is like a northern town on Lake Superior, little vacation spot for people in the Twin Cities. And
Beautiful.
So my parents would always go up there on vacation every summer. And then they had to miss that vacation because my mom went into labor with me. And so they were like, let's name him after this beautiful place we've always gone.
That's
and
really special.
My dad's a singer and would invite me up on stage sometimes when I was younger, and he would always introduce me as Jonah Marais. So I just kind of ran with that, and
Good backstory so far.
It's been my name.
Okay.
Jonah Marais.
Jonah Marais.
For the first time here alone.
Yes.
How does it feel?
It feels, I have moments of really missing it, and then I have moments of feeling empowered because it is just, it's me and my story.
I'm thirsty. Yeah, give me some.
Nah.
Some water.
Fine. Damn.
That's what we asked, guys. Watch some of these.
Middle name. I've always gone by that for music stuff. Since basically Grand Marais, Minnesota is like a northern town on Lake Superior, little vacation spot for people in the Twin Cities. And
Beautiful.
so my parents would always go up there on vacation every summer. And then they had to miss that vacation because my mom went into labor with me. And so they were like, let's name him after this beautiful place we've always gone.
That's really special.
My dad's a singer and would invite me up on stage sometimes when I was younger, and he would always introduce me as Jonah Marais. So I just kind of ran with that, and it's been my name.
Okay.
Jonah Marais.
Jonah Marais.
for the first time here alone.
Yes.
How does it feel?
It feels, I have moments of really missing it, and then I have moments of like feeling empowered because it is just, it's me and my story, and I get to really sit here and talk with you, just me now, and that's a beautiful thing. But it also, like, I miss those guys a lot sometimes. So yeah.
There's so much to talk about in regards to that before
so
we
much.
get into like a bunch of new stuff. But I do want to know, like, was it the first time you performed with your dad on stage? I didn't know that your dad was a singer.
Yeah. It probably was. I can't like pinpoint the exact moment. But I mean, since I was a baby, my dad was like singing in the car rides with me, teaching us songs. We'd always like, I remember one family vacation, all of us kind of sang, and we were road tripping out to Colorado, and our family was a little tight on money at the time, and we learned a few songs on the way out there, and then my dad set up on like the corner in Aspen, Colorado, and we all sang there as a family. And we sang these different songs, and we made enough money in that one day to pay for the whole trip, and it was such a wholesome, cool moment. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I never thought I was going to do it. Even then, though, like I was still convinced I was going to be like a professional baseball player or like, go a different route. And so it was really when I kind of escaped to music in 2014. My mom got breast cancer, and she's totally fine now. But at the time, it was like pretty hard, and to come home and see my mom lost all her hair, she was kind of skinny, like just in bed, like frail, like I didn't know how to process that as a 15-year-old. And so I think I just went in my room and went online and found I found this website, this live streaming website, one of the earliest websites. It's called like younow.com.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yeah, dude. So me and Corbin was on there too, actually. But that's kind of how I found my community.
So you hadn't really sang previous outside of just singing with your family.
Yeah, exactly. I was just in my room. I was like, okay. I honestly wasn't that great at the beginning, but it was fun.
So do you go to YouNow really for like, I mean, even just community, like the idea of like just like kind of just escaping what your reality was?
Yeah, I think it was just escaping, and then the most beautiful thing was like this whole life came from that hard moment, and I think that's like almost symbolic in a way of like, when something really hard happens, you never know what it could lead to.
100%.
Yeah.
Did you feel prepared to enter into Why Don't We when they found you from YouNow?
I didn't really know what it was going to be. I had toured quite a bit at that point with like weird, like, I guess, not weird, I don't want to say that, but it was like
local social media tours, right?
Yeah, like a lot of digi tours. I actually went around the country as like a 16-year-old I did like 4 or 5 of those bus tours with digi tour.
All off of YouNow.
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
was just building.
When did that actually start looking legitimate? Was it when you get a tour offer?
I remember the first step was like I was in my bedroom performing, and all of a sudden that was ramping up. I went and told my parents, I was like, 60,000 people watched my live stream today. And they were like, what are you even doing in there? Like, they had no idea. And then a couple months after that, I was reached out to by something called DigiFest that was coming to the state fairgrounds. And they wanted me to come perform for 5 minutes, like literally like a song. But I opened up the show and I walked out on stage and it was like 7,000 people there. And this was like at the time where like the Viners were like the biggest deal, like Jack and Jack and like all these people. And so I started off this show and I went from being in my bedroom looking at a little number on the screen to like, oh my gosh, I'm on stage. I kind of blacked out. I don't even remember it.
Did your parents come with you? Did they see it too?
Yeah, they were there and they were like, that was when I left high school after that. Was like, they all of a sudden, it kind of clocked like, this is crazy that this is happening.
So, were you surprised by the Why Don't We offer? Because
a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly kind of skeptical. I was like, I'd never thought I would be in a boy band. That was just like not in my kind of, I don't know, what I was imagining for my career. But looking into it, I obviously looked up the people who were involved, and especially like Randy Phillips stuck out as somebody who, I was a huge believer. So I saw him in the Never Say Never movie being interviewed. And to this day, Randy's always been, good to me, and was always the good guy from that whole experience. And I think I was surprised when I got the offer, and I thought about it. I remember my dad kind of talking with me, and I was touring, and things were starting to work a little bit more as a solo artist, and he was kind of like, this could be the next step up to whatever that looks like, and that could bring some amazing things, but it could also be really hard. And so like, just, you could have a life just where you're at right now and continue building that as well. So just really weigh it out. And I remember kind of like going out on a hike by myself and really thinking about it. And I made the decision to be in the band that day. And I was like, I'm going to do it. We'll see what happens.
Grateful for it?
Very grateful.
Have to be, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys.
Dude, I know you for so long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's crazy. So, yeah.
The team that you were working with would go to great lengths to shove into your schedule things that would actually be humanly impossible to tackle. But like through the use of private aviation and like the most insane, like intense coordination.
Yeah.
They were and by like, it was all unpaid. Which is like the weirdest thing. It was like all to get radio spins or to like, it was nuts.
It was crazy.
I mean, there were moments where like it would be a weekend and I'd be going to 2 different cities and I'd see you in 2 cities, but you'd go to 4.
Yeah.
And the same time I'd go to 2.
It was a lot. But
momentum.
Oh my
It's
God.
what launches us forward and upward in rankings. Momentum.
I mean,
Did you enjoy that time?
I did. A lot of parts of it. I mean, it was exhausting. Like you were just describing, it brought me back to that. And it was a lot, but also, we were impacting lives the whole way. And that was the fuel, at least for me, that like got me going and kept me going. And like, I felt like it was really important work that we were doing. And, when you get pulled aside by a parent and they say, just from a father's perspective, I wanted to say thank you because I don't know if my girl would be here if it wasn't for you guys. Like, that's like, of course I would go to 4 cities in 2 days if I get to do that. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for it. Obviously, it was a lot, and we were falling asleep sometimes in the middle of the day. Like, it was like, sometimes I would say too much, but I'm still grateful for sure.
To that point, like one of the fondest memories I have is going to Memphis, Tennessee, and I asked you guys to go to St. Jude's with me.
I remember this day. Yeah.
Hard place to go.
Yeah. I love that stuff though. That's beautiful. Just being able to go be with kids and sing some songs and impact people that way. I've loved doing that. Also, just I've been partnering with some of the Ryan Seacrest Foundation just around the country when I'm touring as a solo artist as well, and it's been amazing. I love it. You get to talk with all these kids, and it really puts a different perspective on my life as I go throughout the rest of the tour. I'm like, oh, I get to like walk. That's awesome,
dude. And it is something that like you all did share. Like you all had really good hearts. Like you were very, and I do remember also like meeting like. Like this little girl in a wheelchair who like only wanted to meet you guys, and me asking like, "Hey, can you take some time to meet them?" Dude, you made this girl's like year. Like, and again, like light lifts, but like to some would be very heavy lifts. You guys did it in a beautiful way. Like you guys really great.
Thank you. Good people.
Yeah, but as great as the band was, did not end the way you guys wanted to end.
Absolutely.
And when you look back at the verdict, I mean. How does that make you feel? And we're only a couple weeks out, so to say fresh is an understatement.
Yeah, it's fresh. Yeah, obviously didn't end how we all wanted. I felt like we have so much potential still. I have so many Why Don't We songs sitting in my notes app that are not in the world. And so, yeah, that's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah, I mean, that was tough. And then, you know, getting through the verdict and getting through the lawsuit, like, my main thing is I'm just so stoked that it's done. I don't have like this big, you know, pending gray cloud in front of me. Like, gosh, I gotta go sit in a courtroom and, you know, go through all this. And like, it's so nice that that's in the rear view now.
It's also been a weight, like a weight on you while you're trying to solidify your own identity as an artist and as a human 100%. As you're growing. Like,
yeah, and we did the entire trial, not the entire trial, but we went in 2023, and we went and sat in the courtroom for 9 days. You know, they do 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, and then they called a mistrial, and it didn't count for anything. Had to go back to LA and do it all over again just now, because I guess there were so many objections happening in that trial, and they just didn't have enough time slated for us. So it was just like, they allotted for more time this time around, and we went back and did it again, but it wasn't the first time as well. So like that was interesting. And also, I think it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Obviously it sucks to have to go back and do it all again, but coming into it this time around with some stuff under my belt and like feeling in a lot better of a mental place, and I have a song at radio that's like in the top 40. I'm like, what the heck? As an independent artist, that's pretty cool.
Amazing.
And I feel like I have something that I've built that they can't take away from me, regardless of what happens.
Can you explain the verdict? Like, you guys didn't win, but you also didn't lose.
Yeah. Great question. I guess my interpretation of it is like, originally they're trying to sue us for $50 million, which is insane. It's insane.
That's great.
The idea that I had, I do not have anywhere close to 1/50th of that. Like, there's no, like, of course.
I gotta say, like, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
If there was $50 million to be had, there was $50 million being spent to keep it all operational. So the idea that exists in any way, shape, or form outside of maybe in catalog, which, by the way, has proven to be diluted in value due to this fucking court case.
Yes. Well, part of their claim for that money was that they could have recast the band.
Bull.
With 5 other kids and had them sing all our songs, and they would have made that.
Because that would have worked.
But to validate that would be to purely invalidate the identity and personality. It like the heartbeat that has kept the band operational.
Yeah.
And like this idea that there's even a proven track record for that to be successful doesn't exist in cultural history ever.
Their reference was Menudo. And, you know, they're talking about this in court, like saying, like, yeah, it would have been awesome. And, like, people do this all the time. And they pull up in the contract where it says that they can do that. And it's like, it was just tough. It was tough to sit there and deal with all that. And,
I'm so sorry.
But that all being said, we were trying to get, they were trying to sue us for $50 million.
Yeah.
The jury found us liable for $4 total between all of us.
Did you pay your $1?
I literally Apple cashed the guy $1. Here you go, buddy. You got it.
That's actually pretty crazy.
So that feels like a win in a lot of ways. And then, you know, I think the hardest pill to swallow is the fact that, you know, they own everything. They own the band name. They own the rights to it. They own the rights to the music. And that's like, dang. Okay. Move on. Move forward. You know, looking forward, trying to figure out the next steps. And, you know, we've had some conversations about maybe re-recording some stuff. So that's kind of exciting. And it probably wouldn't be under the name Why Don't We? But we'll see about that. even had a little bit of a conversation about a reunion type thing.
Cool.
So we'll see. But there's hope for sure. It's not like, we can still perform the songs.
But just not under the name Why Don't We?
Correct.
You guys don't deserve what you went through.
Thanks.
And a part of me kicks myself in the ass. I didn't realize that anybody behind this were pieces of shit. But to be fair, I wasn't really privy to the guy. And by the way, for sake of transparency, I was they took emails in our interview as a part of the lawsuit, and I got served. And this has been going on in your life
Years, man.
for years. I think about the day I got served. That's 2 apartments ago. What the fuck?
Same. That was
It's so nuts.
3 houses. Yeah, I'm like,
what?
what are you? Yeah,
I
crazy.
remember forever. It was December 27th. It's it's just it's been a burden in your life, and for it to have any sort of closure is a blessing.
It is.
But I'm sure you thought a lot about how this would end. Is this the outcome you were expecting, or is this a surprise?
It wasn't the outcome that I was hoping for. I imagined us all, celebrating, saying, "Oh my gosh, we finally get to own everything," But that, it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out how you hope for, and it's not. It definitely could be worse. Definitely could be worse. So I'm glad to
Could
be
be worse, guys.
past it, looking forward, I mean, next year we're going to have the 10-year anniversary of the beginning of the band.
Whoa.
So I'm like, if there's ever a time to do something, it could be on the 10-year.
By the way, things don't happen to you; they happen for you. And
Yeah.
people need identity, and a part of who you are as a being, no matter what group you're in, is lost. Especially when you are doing it at such formidable time in your life.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So much of who you are becomes, one, the people around you because you are the company you keep. But 2, you have this different sense of self as it's a unit.
Yeah.
So you have catching up to do as a human being.
Absolutely.
Or you had it.
Yeah. I really
It could be
struggled
worse,
with that.
it could be
I
not.
would say,
But
I think
never know, honestly.
2023 was probably the hardest year of my life in a lot of ways. Just coming out of the band and
I feel.
I felt like I lost everything.
Yeah,
I
because
felt like I
of
lost
COVID, though.
my built-in
COVID time,
community,
the
my
hard part of
identity,
the
my sense of
time,
self, was hopping on the plane to wherever we're going and impacting kids and doing all this stuff, and that was all just gone.
Yeah.
And it was
hard
really
time
tough
for
to kind of
anyone,
process
though,
that. I'd run out of
because
money, which
it
was
was
they
was
cut off.
terrifying.
Yeah, and so I was living at the studio that I was recording some of the stuff at on a mattress, just with some of my stuff around me, and drinking way too much, and just trying to escape and not think about this. And that was tough. It was not easy, and I think the way that I kind of pushed through that was just
it was I was at the airport.
I think the biggest thing actually was talking about it
from Las
and
Vegas,
getting sober. I've been over a year sober now, which
Congratulations.
feels great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You should be really proud.
Yeah, that feels like probably the most
and then,
impactful
from the
decision that I've
airport,
made. And
we
then
had,
also, I think
was
the
way
moment that
early.
things really turned around was when I talked about it and I made this TikTok where I was things that I'm scared to admit,
email
and
from
then
it that
slides to a bunch of things, and it was
they weren't
I'm running out of money. I've been
and then
dealing with addiction. I've been doing and it was just super honest, vulnerable things. But when I said those things and I put them out there, I felt this freedom that came with it, and I didn't have to hold that just me anymore. And that was really powerful, and I feel like it's been a slow build ever since then. And got a manager after that, and she's amazing. And so thoughtful about mental health, and
She couldn't be a bigger fan of yours.
oh, she's the best.
I've been around from the very beginning.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
She's great. Shout out Cherry. And
I'm
then
back home.
started releasing some stuff. I released a little 5-song mixtape last summer,
It was great. And we have an EP on the way.
and we have an EP on the way. But
was
did a little tour last fall, started to get back into it, and things are
It was like a rising
feeling
force,
good,
wow,
feeling
that's so
hopeful, feeling excited again. And I'm waking up in the morning stoked about life right now, which is great. And I didn't have that a couple of years ago. So grateful. Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah.
I very much understand this idea that like
And
you
I've
wrap
been
your
seeing,
identity
like,
into
I've
something
been seeing some-
that really isn't in your control.
That was 20.
Absolutely.
We had a radio show for 10 years at the last place that we worked at, and they took it away from us abruptly. And my world was shattered. I would drive around at 7 o'clock every night, not know who I was. You know, I lost who I was.
Yeah.
And it's true. It wasn't until admitting that and talking about it, you find some sort of peace by just like speaking it into existence somewhere.
It's true, and it frees up space for different things to come in, more positive things to come in. And I think vulnerability is the key to connection. That's what I've experienced. Just like, even in conversation with friends or family or something, the second that you take a step and go out on a little bit of a limb and say, hey, this is something I'm dealing with, that frees up the floor for the person you're talking to also say,
because sometimes,
dang, they just said that. I'm going to say something now. And you get somewhere. I've had that with my parents even, where like I'll say something and then they'll share something. I'm like, I didn't know that about my mom. That's crazy. And I've known her my whole life. Like that, I think I just encourage anybody to like take some steps in that direction. It's cool.
Well, take the vulnerable step. Take the step that like makes you a little
nervous.
I mean, that's what you're asking your fans to do right now, right?
Yes. So thank you for bringing that up. It's literally in the last like 2 days I had this idea. I have this new song coming out called Better Place.
That's really good.
And it feels just so special, and like the first release that I've ever had that doesn't feel about me at all. It's like, oh, this is way bigger than just me, and I'm doing my part in bringing it into the world. But like, it's mental health. It's talking about exactly what we're talking about, being vulnerable, encouraging people to share. And basically, a couple days ago, I had this realization of like the key turning point in my journey was sharing. And I was like, I want to invite fans to also have that experience. And so I put out to people, I was like, I would encourage you guys just to like snap or write on a piece of paper something you've been holding, maybe a secret, maybe something heavy that's been hard for you, and write it down. Take a picture of that and then send it into this email, anonymous@jonah-marais.com. And I'll put them out there, and then no one's going to know it's you. But the amount, I mean, hundreds and hundreds have come in the last 2 days. And I shared some of the first ones today, and it's like crazy because like my whole comment section, hundreds of comments saying, to the person that's dealing with this, I'm dealing with that too. That's crazy that like, and it's like bringing people together in this beautiful way that like I feel like of my entire career, this is like the most important thing I've ever done. It's crazy.
That's
to
be seen and feel seen is actual strength. And like art does that.
It does.
Music does that. It brings mutual understanding. So where are you actually, what space are you in when you write Better Place? Is it around when you post that TikTok, or when does that come in the cycle of all this thing?
It's good. Good question. So Better Place, I worked with Ryan Lewis.
Yeah, icon.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to Ryan.
Who did it? Do you have an ear? Did you hear? Did you exist in the world?
He's amazing.
Heard of the thrift shop?
And yeah, exactly. So like coming out of Why Don't We, I was kind of freaking out, and I hit up my buddy who did some videos for us, Jason Koenig, who
he's great too.
Amazing music video director. And he is connected to Ryan because that's kind of how he got his start in the music industry. And then worked with some other people, ended up working with Ed Sheeran, did like the Shape of You music video, did Perfect, did all this crazy stuff. And then Ed wrote some Why Don't We songs and asked Jason to do the video. So that's kind of how it all tied together. But Jason loves baseball. I love baseball. We got into some crazy, big, deep life talks, and I would call him when I was struggling with my fourth city in 2 days and not knowing what my life was. And I would call Jason sometimes. And basically when the band was coming to an end, I called him and I was like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. And he was just like, I just feel like you and Ryan would click. You should come in. meet him, and I did, and it was awesome. We made a cool thing the first time, and then the second session I ever did with him, he was like, I want to do everything with you. Like, let's work on stuff. And so that was the beginning of this whole solo endeavor. And Better Place was a song. He had this concept. If I could, I would. I'd make this world a better place.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of been around this entire time, and I've known about it, but I never, like, I just knew it was this massive kind of grandiose idea, and I never felt like it was time to write it quite yet. And I had to work through my own stuff before I could, like, speak to other people. And now I feel like
Yeah.
it was actually
Yes.
this past fall, I think, when Liam Payne passed. That was really hard
Getting
for me.
out the
And,
realm to the pain.
and
Okay.
a lot of people obviously
always,
had a
like,
crazy reaction
probably
to that, but
But you understand it a different way.
October.
it was like it kind of cut to the bone in a strange way for me, because I was in a band as well. Obviously not at the level that he was, but like,
But still.
and
Yeah,
also dealt with
like October.
addiction stuff, and had a lot of my identity in
Like,
being in a
I
band
knew
and all
you-
of that, and so
And
like
I knew like probably
can
like 2 days after. Just
empathize with that,
Oh, yeah,
and
thank you.
seeing
After
how that all
I
went
wrote
down
it,
was
like-
just heartbreaking.
Right.
And I called
was-
called all the guys, checked in on them,
that night around.
and just like, it
Here's
was
how
one of those
I
check-in
do it.
moments for me
When
after that.
I'm
And so I think going back to writing Better Place
Oh,
after
going on YouTube
that week of
Shorts,
craziness was,
and
I
this
kind of
was,
wrote
like,
it with a different
2-3 days
perspective,
night out.
and it came out. It
I
really
was
like just
like,
came through, and then
11
that was cool because I
o'clock.
got to like write words that I wish that I had when I was at my lowest.
And
And I think that's
Basically,
when
yeah.
things get powerful.
I went,
So when you listen to it now, how do you feel?
oh,
Proud,
and like
really good. Like, it's like,
I was scrolling.
this is what
Yeah,
I think
that's
that the
Maybe
kid, it's like an epidemic,
Yes,
mental
yes.
health
on the
with
thing.
young people right now.
And
Everyone's
that's
so
how-
lonely. I think it like has something to do with COVID, and just
Totally.
like people, like, I think more than ever feeling
painted
just
that
alone in the
house.
world and not seen, and like dealing with stuff that they
Then-
don't talk about with anybody. And like, I've just had this deep sense of that, and like this
And
song
this is how like
sums
I
it
wanted-
up in a cool way of just inviting people
Um,
to share, and to that they're not alone. It's
Can we
cool.
talk? Can we talk about the moment where Ryan Lewis says that he wants to work with you on like a whole project? Is that
Yeah.
validating? Is that relieving?
It was relieving.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, to go from not knowing what I'm gonna do
yeah.
with my life
And
to
then
like,
I
oh my
searched
gosh,
up on
this
Google,
super
like,
producer
like,
wants
okay,
to
that
work
was-
with me.
okay, now
That was
I searched
amazing.
up on
It was
Google.
so cool, and he just
Oh, the
opened up his studio. Come hang. Let's figure out
So,
what you want to do, what your sound is. He was a brother, a friend to me when I really needed it, and like,
yeah. So,
yeah, I'm forever
yeah,
grateful.
that's how I know
for
it.
him.
But the EP is more than
Oh.
enough.
Yes.
That's how I know.
Do you
I that.
come out of this project
And then I
realizing
watched,
your
like,
worth
a
and value,
Hulu documentary about it.
understanding it in a different way than when you went into it?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I came into this project in 2022, I was just lost and trying to figure out myself, and I feel like I do have a sense of self, and it's rooted deep now, that, and I found the roots from when I was a kid somehow. Like I've like rediscovered my heart. And
Yeah.
it's been good.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you even like tap into that? How do you begin that journey? Is it in the studio? Is it outside of the studio?
I think it has to do with a lot of different things, but I think rediscovering things that just make me happy. Like, I went to spring training last year when I was really down bad. I like literally drove out with Jason, and we like tried to get autographs from players, and that brought me back to like, I would stand outside the
That's great.
Twins stadium when I was a kid, like, and ask for these guys autographs, and I would wait out there for them. So we literally did that. We waited from like 6 a.m. outside the Dodgers spring training facility and tried to get autographs, and it was that was a cool, just like felt like a kid again moment. And like, I think it's just like trying to do things like that, whatever that looks like in your life, you know, like reconnect with something that makes you happy. And then also for me, it's been kind of like finding a deeper sense in purpose in life. And like I've found faith through all of this in a big way as well. And kind of praying a lot and feeling like there's definitely a creative force out there that is looking out for me and loving me. And that's been probably the most groundbreaking thing for me, that also no one can take away from me. It's beautiful.
Are you praying while making this EP?
Yeah.
Or only after?
Yeah,
During?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would pray before going into the studio or while I was living there, you know, like, I mean, definitely finding God through this whole thing.
People talk about praying all the time. You can call it prayer, you can call it meditation, you can call it manifestation, communication with the universe. However you slice it, it really is all praying.
It's tough because I want to talk about this because it's my journey and it's my it's who I am and it's what's really helped me, and like it's given me the most peace over anything else in my life is finding my faith and finding the ability to pray and feeling the love from God. But that being said, anytime anyone brings up faith and like religion and this whole thing, it almost like I don't want to be that like preachy guy that's like, and you have to believe this too, and like, you know, all of a sudden I'm a evangelist, and like there's so much hurt that's happened in the world because of that. And I know people have baggage, and I know people are like, they instantly go into their like, uh-oh, this guy's going to tell me about this. And I'm like, I don't ever want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like,
I kind of agree with that, honestly.
It's helped me. So I'm like, I try to like toe that line a little bit.
Who is that guy to you? Who got you involved?
Who got me involved?
Who reminded you that God was there?
Scheduled doctor's appointment, turned in expenses, hit the gym, got to your to-do list, eat healthy today, take your vitamins. Yeah, life gets busy, but adding nutrition...
Nobody cares. Sorry, nobody cares about ads. But if you're gonna pee with
I think it was
ads, then that's
probably Jason first. When I was in the band, we had just a few really deep talks, and he kind of reminded me. And then my best friend, Austin North, he's an actor. He's in the show Outer Banks. He plays Topper. And he invited me to church one day with him. And I was like,
whoa.
This was 2021. And I was just partying. I was trying to pretend that there was nothing wrong with the situation with the band, and like just like very much in my own world of like escapism. And I had like a terrible hangover and was struggling with anxiety and all of that. And I like literally like knelt down on my knees in my backyard and like looked at the sky and was like, God, I don't know what you want from me. And I was struggling, and within 5 or 10 minutes from that, I got a text out of the blue from Austin, like, hey, do you want to go to church tomorrow? And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do that. Like, that's the most clear thing I could get after that. So super grateful for him and our friendship. And, you know, I think having a group of dudes that you can be vulnerable with is very rare.
Oh,
I think, you know,
and
like
frowned upon by society.
I know. It's like, it's breaking down the toxic masculinity of all of that and just being like, what's up, dude? Like, let's talk about it. How are you actually doing? Like, what, you know, I'm grateful. I have a group of guys now that I can really do that with.
Really special.
Yeah.
Is faith what inspired the choir in Better Place? Because it does kind of sounds like you're in church a bit.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love a choir.
I'm so grateful you asked about that. So that choir is very, very special to me
Exactly.
because,
Like, yeah.
like I said, my dad's a singer. So growing up, I would go to church, and he performed at a lot of different churches. And he would like sing hymns sometimes with his brother, and they also did stuff outside of churches. It wasn't like just a strictly church thing, but occasionally he would sing with this incredibly talented gospel singer, this like big black guy, such a kind dude. His name's Robert Robinson, and he has the most beautiful, like buttery, big tone. And I have always just admired him, and so I flew to Minnesota with Ryan, and we recorded him.
Wait, that's
and his choir on this song.
Wait, that's so cool.
And my dad got to be in the session with us,
but also,
and it
like,
was just like, it was awesome.
only something Ryan Lewis would want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, because in all the world you go, like, let's save the most money doing this.
Yeah.
Use AI, use a computer.
Yeah.
Stack whatever.
No, it was special.
Oh, that's incredible.
So what you're hearing is like, that's like life's work of like, from being a little kid watching my dad on stage with this dude, you know, like I get to hear him on my song now. It's
But
cool.
see, like in that moment, can't you go like the why don't we thing happens for you and not to you?
For sure. No
Maybe.
question. It's not even,
But
I'm fully convinced that was like,
Like that
not,
chapter.
that was just that was
Yes.
part of the plan.
Yeah, the chapter needed to close.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you would never be there doing that.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like you can always look back on situations and say, what if we went on this track? And what if we did this? And what if I did this? But I'm so grateful that I'm right here right now. And things in my life are like adding up in a really crazy way.
Yeah.
And especially in the last couple months, I'm like, what is happening? This is weird.
You should be really proud.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, like you can think all day, like what would have been with Why Don't We? But I'll say this all day because I've said it on the record. I've never watched a band have better songs and work harder and really still
Yeah.
never have a hit. So like,
It's true.
you can
Yeah.
have great songs sitting in your pocket that could have been for Why Don't
Yeah.
We? But you know what
Yeah.
they say? Sometimes it's about the artist that's crafting that song.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that could be a hit record in your pocket. But
Yeah.
you may never know.
But you know what? I would take what we had, which was such a strong connection with our fan base, and almost like I've never seen it before with like this, it's like a familial feeling with the fan base, which is a weird word for it, but like I feel connected to these people.
Exactly.
Even at my solo shows, they come up and they're like, I grew up with you. And like I've recognized these people and they're so
Yeah.
kind, so supportive. I would take that any day over having a hit song.
But also, the music was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
guys
I'll
had
probably
incredible personality,
put
and
that-
you did
probably
in
put-
different ways have
the input
share
out
your
there.
truth to this group, and also you all were different colors that you made up a larger painting.
Yeah.
that people really fell in love with, and
Yeah.
the community that Why Don't We has crafted is really, really special.
I know.
Beautiful people.
The story's not done.
Totally.
Yeah.
It isn't ever done. Like you may have one destination in your mind, like locked in.
Yep.
But in that destination can remain the same. But you may just take a different route to get there.
Yeah, exactly. That's well said.
You got to listen to his
that's
music.
right
It's
there.
all waiting for you on Amazon Music. There's a link below.
There's
The
like
EP once it's
only
out, but
so
obviously the
much on
mixtape
Amazon
is up
Music
there.
now.
Please, please, please go.
Also,
Go,
I
go,
just
go.
have to shout out Amazon Music.
Oh, we love you.
It's like been the leading platform supporting me as an independent artist. Like, if you look at the numbers across everything, Amazon has gone hard for me, and I appreciate it so much. They made me an artist to watch in 2025, put me up on a freaking billboard in Times Square. I literally flew out and was
Dude.
like, I need to go see this. This is insane. So I just have so much
Yeah.
love for
Yeah.
anyone that is like
Yeah, like,
allowing me to do this. It's so cool.
Like,
And you have an awesome Amazon Music original.
I do.
Your Iris cover is spectacular.
Thank you. Yeah, that thing is
yeah, I feel like
crushing it right now. I'm like, this is odd, and I'm really proud of that. I just made it with my buddy Isaac, who I grew up with. By the way, crazy. My guitarist Isaac and my drummer, who I tour with, Bennett. Our dads played in a band together growing up, so we were
Wait, what?
backstage
Yeah.
We were
That's amazing.
backstage at
Like Spotify.
their shows. They're like, just
But-
local shows around Minnesota.
'Cause, like,
But we were like
music,
there
you get
watching our dads do it. And so for him to come out to LA and
you
be
get,
working
like,
on this Iris cover with me and we're on stages across the world now doing this, like it's like it's all just one big painting that's filling itself in. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Things are falling into the right place.
Yeah.
How'd you land on the Iris cover?
Those shows that you want.
I just love those lyrics.
If you get
I think that that's like
Google,
one of the lyrically
you get-
best written songs
you get like
and
Spotify, like,
can really speak to people,
like,
and
in visual,
I thought it
you get-
felt great
there's,
for
like,
my
on your
vocal range
version,
and
yeah.
like
like
just sounded cool when we did like a little version in the room on guitar. It was like, oh, this
It's
this
so
will
much
work.
more
Let's do it.
than,
So
like,
that's kind of
what Spotify
how it came. And then, yeah, it's been fun to see. I mean, we're at like over 4 million streams on it right now. I'm like, dang, this is sick. It's awesome. So that's fun.
The Goo Goo Dolls are coming by in a few weeks. Should we play it for them?
Please, that would be really cool.
Will you remind?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Dan will make a note of it.
Okay.
I love the Goo Goo Dolls.
We do love the Goo Goo
No,
I
Dolls.
love 'em.
but if you're like
What
running
are you thinking?
podcast, then it has
Did
to
Ryan
be
Lewis
so
do Twisted
every time,
Lullaby?
like,
Yeah.
What was it like writing that song? Because I mean, obviously you're mentioning all your
I cannot kill.
bandmates by name.
Mhm.
You can't play instruments like Dan. Can't sing like Jack. You wish you can. Can't dress like Corbin. Can't even dance.
Anyways,
And we both know Zach was the face of the band. Maybe I really am just over my head.
then
Do
like
you really? Do you
Spotify
believe that?
At the time, yeah. I mean, that
makes
song
care a lot.
was basically I came in, I hadn't been sleeping well. I was like really like kind of just worried about the future of what my life was. And I came into the studio and Ryan and Jason were just kind of like, what's going on, dude? Like, what are you actually thinking about? And I was just talking about some of those insecurities and vulnerabilities. And Jason was like, what if we wrote a song that like said to the T exactly what you're feeling right now? Like, what is that? What does that look like? And I just wrote that first verse within like 2 minutes. It was just like, here's what my brain is thinking. And I didn't think it was going to come out even. I thought it was just kind of like an exercise. But then singing it back, I was like, that sounds pretty good. And I thought it was cool to start off my whole solo thing, like just kind of getting that out of the way. Like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking about. Just say it like this. And that was a low point. That was definitely like I was struggling with drinking and all of the things. Like that was hard. And so I look back on that. It's like it marks a place in time for me. And I don't think like that anymore. Like I don't
like,
have those
drinking-
thoughts. That was like a version of me
Yeah,
that
like
thought that.
drinking,
But yeah.
like,
Well, you lean in, you move on,
Yeah.
and like writing it out, and even
Yeah.
releasing it. Like it does help
so
you
much, like,
kind of like come into yourself.
Mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
it's, like,
Yeah, I'm
affects,
proud of it.
Did you get the guy's approval before putting it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hit them up. I told them, and they liked it. You know, like it's not like talking crap about
No,
them.
you're
at
not
all.
saying
I'm
anything
like
negative.
building them up.
Yeah.
I'm talking crap about me.
Yeah. You guys are all great. I'm not.
How do you feel about being independent?
It's comfortable to go and take a big check from a big company, but I think because I didn't do that, it's proving to be like more stable. Like I don't have to have like, we've spent $1.4 million on this project so far, so if this next album doesn't sell this amount of units, you got to be worried. Like that kind of thing is very, very real. And I don't have that. It's literally like
It's that-
whatever money's coming in, I can take a part of that, put it back in.
yeah.
I can record a song tonight and put it out. Like I literally am like, it's just me, my manager Sherry, and whatever we want to do. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I'm not relying on a whole bunch of people.
It's the right way to operate.
It feels good. It's hard though, because I'm like, yeah, it's like I don't have the same amount of money anymore. It's definitely humbled me in a lot of ways. Like coming from the band where we did make some good money at times. Like, and so I've had to like adjust my lifestyle for sure. But it's taught me a lot of lessons, and it's not about. I'm happier now than I was when I had 6 figures in the bank. You know what I mean?
About the money, though.
It's all good.
The truth is, though, like once you build this,
Yeah.
it is building now. It is active. It is
Mm-hmm.
real. Also, you have a song on radio. They pay the highest royalties over anybody. So those always come a year late.
Yeah.
On top of that, once you actually have wins, they're your wins.
Yes.
That money
No, it's not for a
belongs
big
to you.
company then. It's
Yes.
literally just me. I'm
Great.
owning this stuff. It's crazy. And I think coming out of literally just off the heels of this lawsuit, I feel so happy that it's like, nope, I'm choosing people that I love to be around, that I work with. And I'm the boss in a lot of ways, which feels right after all this. And I will say, I think the music up until now, it's been kind of figuring out my sound. Like you hear that when you listen to those first 5 songs, it's like we got like a punk rock thing, we have like an almost 80s thing, we have like more poppy thing. Like it's very different styles.
And like back.
But I will say it's like kind of just been chipping away and like figuring out like no, this is more sounding like me. This is more sounding, and I think we've got it a little more nailed down on this next project, and I'm like I love this stuff. Like I'm so excited about the next stuff.
It is a process.
It is.
Like you can't
just walk into it and be like, this is my sound. Otherwise, it's like you're taking something that's not you, and you're just like, this is me now, and like that doesn't work either. So I'm figuring it out.
Would you be releasing music today if you never got sober?
Probably not. Yeah, that was such a big decision. I don't know. I was not doing well, and I remember the day that I decided. It was basically I'd gone to a bar the night before, and I just remember being at the bar drinking, and I don't really remember anything else. And I woke up in my bathroom in my apartment, and there was blood around me. And the faucet of my bathtub was like knocked off of the wall.
I don't want to say this.
And I'd like fallen, I guess, and like cut myself from the faucet or something. Like I literally had no idea. And I was like, this could be bad. Like I could die. Like that was basically. And I was like kind of crying, like what is going on? And I remember calling my mom, and she was like, like she knew something was up, and I was just like, I broke down to her and I told her everything, and I flew home that day, and I haven't drank since. But that was like the moment where it was okay. It's time.
Terribly frightening, but deeply vital.
And then that's how you my name would take.
Having that moment, but then being able to stick to that commitment takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, I mean, when it's interesting. My whole life, whenever I've like decided something, it's that. For me, I still like to go out. I'll go to a bar. I'll go to a club. I'll like later on today. I know this is probably airing not today, but I'm going to meet up with my friend Eben, who you know.
Hey, Eben.
He DJs.
Yeah, he's DJing at a bar, like an outdoor bar in Venice. It's called Waterfront, and he did a little like remix of Slow Motion, and so I was like, we should celebrate that. So it's like I still love to go to these places. It's just not on the table anymore for me to have a drink. Like I'm. It's not like I can't be around it, but it's just not an option for me.
Have you found yourself replacing it with anything?
I think I've been putting that same energy of searching for something into faith. Like that's been like I've literally been like poring over the word and like understanding stories and like praying and like really like giving, because I feel like what that really is trying to escape or trying to find what I'm missing or like there's like some deep rooted stuff there, and I've been searching for that in more positive ways, I think. And yeah, I think, I also think I definitely have a caffeine addiction now. Like I've always loved coffee, but it's like I have 4 shots in my latte in the morning, and you know, it's like I should probably reel back on that a little bit, but addictive personality, I guess.
You know what? It's better than that than
Yeah, exactly.
like wondering if you're going to
No,
stumble home and
thanks.
hurt yourself.
Yeah, it is a lot better.
Have you connected with Daniel over sobriety?
Not really.
Is he sober as
much.
well?
He is sober. We haven't had that many talks about it though. Like I think, I don't know where he's at with it actually. I think he is sober, but we haven't talked about it. He came to my 1 year sober. I did like a little like bowling alley party. I should have invited you guys. Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, he came to that and was very supportive. And but yeah, we haven't like had any just one-on-one conversations about it.
It's good to celebrate those moments.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, you dated Rebecca Black?
Yeah.
Total sidebar. Like that's just like the real. Like let's just shoehorn that one in.
That was, yeah. We toured together on one of the Digi tours.
Wow.
Because she was on there, I was on there, and we spent time together, and she was really, really kind. She was like really, and I also think she's so talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I love her whole new vibe. She's crushing it. She's like found her identity, I feel like, and it's cool. But I mean, I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Well, you're also currently in a relationship with a musician too.
I am.
She plays an incredible guitar.
Yeah, and she's an amazing songwriter and singer, and like,
Yeah.
I'm in love.
We're talking about Zia.
Mm-hmm.
Zia Victoria.
Yeah,
Has she influenced the music at all?
for sure. I'm always like, the more and more that I've been writing, I think more than ever right now, I'm just writing like it's a journal. Like it's not like I'm going in and trying to write this hit about some fantasy world or something. Like I'm just like writing about what's going on. So yeah, she's definitely influenced some of the new stuff.
Ripping from reality.
Yeah.
Are all these life changes while you're picking up, leaving Los Angeles and heading to Nashville?
Yeah, that was a really interesting decision that I made it was actually kind of in September. I was out on my first headline solo run. I was going around the country, and it dawned on me. I'm like, I haven't been in LA now in over like a month and a half, 2 months, and there isn't as much tying me to the city as there was
Get out.
before.
Who needs it?
That being said, I've been here for 8.5 years. I'm like, I grew up in this city in a lot of ways. The band stuff happened here. I'm kind of ready for that next thing and next new beginning, whatever that is. And I started feeling that in September, and I am just excited about walking into the unknown. It's exciting, and also like
It's a great city to create in.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking also just along the lines, not that I'm like
Exactly.
ready to start a family right now, but like down the line, I'm thinking about like where do I want to raise kids? Where do I want to have a family? Where do I want to like make these next big steps in my life? And I don't think LA is that place. I think that LA is a beautiful place to be young and connecting, and people move here because they have a dream, and it's like this young, like it's this energy you can't deny. But I do think Nashville is a little bit of a different culture. It's like more community based, more like the storytelling and the songwriting is really inspiring to me there. Already, like I'm really close with Kelsey Ballerini, and she's based there, and I'm like, she's like, yeah, park your car at my place before, like when you drive here, like just park it here for the next few months and whatever. And then she's like, I gotta introduce you to my producer.
Exactly.
Like they're awesome. Like be awesome. Like it was just,
It's a camaraderie
it's like
and a
come,
collaborative.
let's help each other
Yes.
kind of thing. And I don't get that as much in LA.
Yeah.
You're going out on tour soon, right?
I am.
If you perform 8 letters, do your ex-managers get paid?
No, it's considered a cover of the song unless I
I
mean
think they might.
maybe somebody in my ear could tell me because it is like you performing it. But if I was to perform it, it'd be considered a cover, so they wouldn't get paid.
Because I know you were performing it, right?
Well,
I
Yeah.
just don't know how any of that works.
Well,
Like, can you could perform 8 letters on your solo tour?
I can. Yeah.
And do you
There's
plan on-
no.
I don't
Yes,
know.
I'm definitely gonna perform that. That's one of my favorite songs
I
to perform.
love that song.
Yeah, it's my favorite song we ever did, by the way. It's the most popular. It's basic to say that, but freaking love that song.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
awesome.
It's fantastic. It's I can sing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Should I?
Yeah, go for it.
No. Talk's great too.
No, I think Lotus Inn might be one of my top
Oh,
Why Don't We songs.
thank you.
You guys have great songs, but you also have great songs on your own.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's what's
it's all-
fucking
I'm-
exciting.
yes, but I'm not like,
Yeah,
I'm not the
I would,
kind of
like,
person
break
that's like,
podcasts,
yo,
you know?
why don't we suck? Pay attention to my stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, like, I'm so proud of that stuff. We did so much cool things, and we built something that I'm like, we did that. That is so cool that I was 1/5 of that magic. And I'm forever proud of that. I'm going to sing Why Don't We songs for the rest of my life. I'm so proud of that. And whether, you know, maybe some of the other guys too, we'll all get together and do it. That'd be awesome.
I really do think that this music that you're releasing is very special.
Yes, I don't want to take away from the fact that I am very excited.
Like
about
genuinely, I can see the artist that you're becoming. Like I can like visually see it. I can hear it. It's cool.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, look at that sick outfit.
Yeah.
The whole time I've been like, I think I'm gonna go buy a brown Dickie suit after this because you look great.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are very sweet.
Just because he looks good at it doesn't mean it's gonna work on you.
Well, you know,
I could see it.
I think I could maybe pull that off.
Yeah.
Not as well, but I think I could give it a better
I'll
shot.
be watching some future shows.
Episodes to see if I do it.
I'm hoping you do it.
And thank you for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for. I mean, I don't know. I'm grateful. Just like as an artist, it's like the biggest dream just to have people on the other side that are waiting for that art. And I feel like you have a megaphone to people that can be on the other side of what I do. So the fact that
Yes.
you're lifting up my voice and we get to have these real conversations and talk about how we're actually doing, that's beautiful. So thank you for your work and for helping me.
I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It really. I mean,
I know there was a period there where we would see each other out and it would be like, we gotta hang, man. And
Yeah.
then we just never have.
no,
So
but I
I'm
gotta
like-
say, like, I didn't know you were like. I didn't know you were totally going through something, but I do got to say, like, it makes sense. Like, I also
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, dude, I was going through something too. Like, I was drinking,
Yeah.
and like,
Dude.
I'd always see you through the haze of
Never drink.
alcohol.
Yeah.
So, like, the idea
I
of
saw you through
sticking
that
to
haze
anything,
many, many times.
yeah.
But now there's no haze.
Yeah, but
and
then there was
here we
also
are.
like many years where there was
Never
no haze
drink.
of any substance, and it was in the throes of like working really hard and also being grounded and present. Like, you know, I have a lot of memories of like. You know, I mentioned it the other day with Daniel. Like, you guys used to set up your computers, no matter where you'd end up. Like, you'd be in this tiny little fucking green room downstairs of this theater in like Kansas City, and there'd be these like gaming setups. Yeah, because you just needed peace and solace.
Yeah, that was like
And-
we'd get to our green room and be like, okay, let's set up, and we'd all play games together.
and you'd
stuff.
lock the fuck in.
Yes, absolutely. Also, I will say some of my favorite times were Daniel would like set up his little recording set, like a just kind of like a dinky little setup in the backstage or in the back of the bus, and we had so much fun just messing around. And like we were like, these will never ever see the light of day. Please don't ask to hear them. But like we'd make rap songs. It was so much fun. Like we would just like make these like hard like rap songs in the back of the bus, and like those are some of my most cherished memories with those guys.
I also remember the day that you guys played me music that you had made yourself as Why Don't We?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, and it was just you guys. I don't even think those songs ever came out.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's interesting you said that. I remember that very well. That was in the era that like nobody around us was giving us any
Credit.
Yeah, and then so I'm sure you felt the energy of like the five of us being like, Zach, come to the car. Like we're gonna play you some stuff. And it was like,
Yeah.
Do you like this? Do you like this? Isn't this cool? Like it was very like, give us validation,
And it was
please, because we're
great.
doing. Yeah, I mean,
It was great. And it was you and Daniel really leading that back.
it was, and Corbin helped
Yes.
a lot too. But it was, yeah. We were working a lot together. It was fun.
And now you're in a better place.
Ding ding ding.
Boom.
That was good.
Nice.
That was awesome.
The record is waiting for you. There's a link below. Amazon Music.
Yes.
Listen to it. Plus, if you want to see our friend Jonah on tour, you can.
Yes, I'm going to Europe in April.
Sick.
I'm doing a headline run in Europe, which is insane to even say. And then I'm coming back and I'm opening for my friends Nightly.
Nice.
They're an amazing band. And Full Circle, like, so basically when the band was coming to an end in 2022, I did a little trip to Vegas with Nicole, my friend, and she was our product manager at Atlantic. We became like besties. We went to Vegas together, and Jess was there as well from Atlantic. She's amazing. And so that the three of us had this little like getaway trip to not think about this, that it was happening. And we were sitting by the pool in Vegas, and the song comes on, and it was such a vibe by the pool. And it was a Nightly song, and I didn't know them at all. I just Shazammed it and was like, this is so sick. And Nicole was like, yeah, Nightly's dope. Like, you should hit them up. And so I DM'd them, and they responded. And like, literally 2 days later, I flew to Nashville because I just had nothing else to do. So I like flew to Nashville, and I met with them, and we ended up writing a couple songs together. And
that's
then
great.
Full circle moment, like they invited me to come on the road with them. So I'm stoked about that.
Will those songs come out?
I don't know if those ones will, actually. Like they were just kind of like rough ideas. It was more about like the connection that we had together. I'm sure that we will create something in the future together that is awesome. Or maybe we'll revitalize one of those songs, or reutilize one of those songs. That'd be cool. But then I'm also planning a headline run for the US for the fall right now as well. So
let's go.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah, we have an EP still coming in May.
There's going to be more after that too. I have that EP's like done and written and everything, and I already have like some stuff for after that.
Is it all with Ryan?
So because I'm moving to Nashville, and I'm like Ryan's very much based in LA, I think always forever, like he is one of the people that I will always hit up, like if I'm coming to LA to work with and stuff. But we've also been working together now for like 2.5 years. It's been intense. It's been beautiful. We've created something, but I am at the point where I'm like, I would love to work with some other people too. And,
it's good
you
to
know,
work
just expand.
with, like, other
And
people,
I love
just
love
like,
what we've created, but I think it'll also be interesting to just like go to Nashville and see what happens there with some producers, or come back to LA and see some other people. But also like every single time I want to hit up Ryan. He's such a, also like the fun that we have in the studio is like unmatched. Like it's like such a goofy, fun vibe, and it's like no bad ideas. That's my favorite thing. It's like I never feel crappy throwing something out, because we're always throwing out bad ideas, and then something lands once in a while.
You can only do what you do in a safe space.
Yeah, exactly.
Wondering, you did ask ChatGPT to roast your Instagram profile, like many people.
I forgot. Yes.
Yeah, well, it says you peaked in high school. Do you make any changes to your Instagram after you read what they say to you?
No, not really.
I like that. Confidence.
Yeah, I just run with it. It's all good.
And AI doesn't know, dude.
It kind of does know sometimes.
It's true.
It kind of does. That's the hard part.
Between us right now, like I have AI like fighting with a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like
it's good.
Lawyer responds, AI responds.
Yeah.
Lawyer
I'm not
responds,
gonna lie, like
AI responds.
This morning I woke up and I was like, what are some talking points I could talk about with Zach Sang today? And it was like, well, Zach Sang likes to go deep in depth with conversations, and here's and I was like, it knows Zach.
No,
that's
it
crazy.
does
Like it's
know me.
It's cool.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
You can like have it say things in my voice. It's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Not like you can write something as me.
Yeah.
It's weird shit.
Is there anything
That's so weird.
I'm trying to think, like, I don't know. I'm in this beautiful phase of like, I think because the band, especially at the beginning, was so like, here's what you say, here's what you wear, here's what you sing. Like very much just like we're playing these characters. And then by the end of the band, we had kind of become our own people. But I'm in this mode of like, I just want to be able to talk about anything, whatever. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, don't ask me about that or whatever. Like, is there any like questions that y'all have that are like crazier?
Is there anything you'd want to say to your old managers that you ended up not saying to them while in trial?
I got so much closure from being on that stand. I like really just said exactly what my recollection of that time was. And like, clearly, like, it was not okay. I developed an eating disorder. I'm still dealing with all of this stuff that was happening. And I think just saying that in the room where they're sitting there was everything I needed. I don't feel like I have to say very much more. One question that was asked is like, could you forgive them? And I don't think I could right now. But I do think, like, I believe that anyone can
anything though.
Anyone can turn around and be a better person. Like, I don't think that, like, you're forever a bad person because you've made some poor choices or done certain things. So I think, like, I actually feel bad. It would be really hard to be in that mindset and, like,
if you're like a bad
do that to
person,
somebody and then, like, have to deal with that in court and everything. And, like, no matter what the jury said or no matter what all of that came to be, he knows exactly what happened. We know exactly what happened. And so, like, to have to live with that that would be heavy. I wouldn't be able to sleep. So, like, I hope that they can figure out whatever they need to.
You know how Zach said you guys, like, which is true, like, 8 Letters was successful, but it was never that big hit. Did you guys ever, like, look at people like One Direction and think, like, why aren't we that?
Yeah. A lot, for sure. I mean, it was like
One Direction, took off,
I don't know. I think for a long time it was building and building and building, and it felt like it was just. I mean, we sold out Radio City, and it was still building, but there was something that was just never lining up. I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you, but it wasn't. For some reason, it just didn't go there. I don't know if it was the certain song. I don't know if it was something about.
When you look at the world, what do you see?
The new H2 Pro system separates clean and dirty water. The new H2 Pro from O Cedar.
You guys?
Us, or if it was something about our managers that were representing us, that were, like, that's the thing that I'm realizing now as a solo artist is, like, your manager represents you in different rooms you're not in with the whole industry. So however they come across is an extension of you. So, like, be thoughtful about that, artists. You know, like, I do think that could have been something that held us back. I don't know.
But also, culture was at a very weird place when you guys launched, 2015, right?
Yeah, I think
so, like, you got to think,
like something like between like One Direction.
One Direction was coming to a close.
Yeah.
Just a year or two later.
Yeah.
The world was shifting out of this boy band mentality. We were moving into K-pop vigorously. Like, it was starting to take over here in a way that was really infectious and shouldn't go unrecognized because it would lead to this larger, beautiful cultural shift. But it was like, it's probably a perfect storm, I think, which is why there was kind of a ceiling.
I also think that it's interesting when I think about that time because, like, we were gaining tons of traction through Logan Paul, and we were and we had a song, Something Different, that was going crazy at radio.
I remember all of this, and I also remember artists meeting with me, great artists that you would be shocked to know, going, I need a Why Don't We Logan Paul moment. I need this social burst.
Yes.
And him directing your music video.
It was huge. And so we were going like that. And then it was interesting because we went on the Today Show because this was going crazy. They're like, come perform. And someone from our management really loved dancing from back in the day. And
ruined it.
Taught, like, he was very insistent that we do this certain dance and whatnot. And, like, terrible dancers in general. We should not be dancing. And there's footage of it. And, like, literally that stuff went viral to the entire K-pop world that was taking off at the time. Look at what America's doing with boy bands. Are you guys serious? And it was like 80 million plus views on like Twitter at the time. And it was like, well, that sucks. Like, you know, so like I do think that there were moments where like we were going like this and then something would happen that was not our choice.
And if you look at One Direction, they never tried to dance.
No.
They were just always themselves.
But I will say, you guys danced to the very fucking end, because I have memories again watching your show, and you guys would just like appear from the ground, and then there would be like, you'd be on these pillars, and they do the whole fucking moves.
Yeah,
and
we're
in
doing it.
tuxedos.
Oh yeah. I was in China one time and I walked up onto the stage and the front of my tux in the crotch area ripped.
Huh.
And I had to go forward. I literally was like, I'm sure that some Chinese person has a picture of my underwear or something.
Really frightening.
I don't know why that came up in my brain. But
Frightening,
there you
but real commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You're a real artist.
Mm-hmm. I haven't talked about this like at all anywhere. I, in 2023, had a psychosis episode, which was insane. Like I've
Brought
never,
on by what?
It was lack of sleep. I didn't sleep for like 3 days, and I had smoked a little bit of weed, and I literally was convinced that the world was ending. Like I thought it was for sure happening, and I like flew home. I was telling my parents this, and they were like, what is going on? Like, it was crazy. And they took me to the ER. I was placed on a 12-hour hold.
Yeah.
And I tried to run out, and like security had to grab me. And like it was crazy. And so like that was like probably the lowest.
When was this?
2023, spring of 2023.
Had you start making music by then or no?
I had, yeah.
Can you explain what it feels like to be in that state, like mentally?
It felt so real. It felt like I was sure. Like I was like very sure that the world was ending, and I was like, I needed to save everyone, and like it was really crazy. I can't, like, it's a weird, like, thinking back to it, because it feels like a dream, or it feels like a haze or something, but it really happened. And I was like, I don't know. I think it was almost euphoric. Like, I felt like this was like, it felt like the feeling of, like, playing a big show or something. Like, it was very strange. Like, I need to tell everyone, and I need to go home, and I need to tell them that the world's gonna end, and we need, like, I had this whole vision of, like, having, like, my family get into an RV and drive across the U.S., and we had to tell everyone that.
Yeah.
It was really weird. It was so weird, and I knew that I had to, like, do this to, like, save everyone, and that all of my work and stuff with Why Don't We, it was all leading for me to have this moment in the world to save the world. And it was, like, very weird that, like, my brain got to that point.
Yeah,
and to have that and then be so off and so wrong and being held down by security in a hospital and, like, sedated, like, was crazy.
So how do you come out of it?
It took a long time. It was like I was just home for a month or two after that, living in my parents' house and where I grew up, and just, like, trying to rebuild and feel okay again. And, like, really strange to be that far off to where, like, I don't really even trust my own brain at times. Like, not still. I'm, like, pretty much over this whole thing at this point. But, like, kind of through the rest of 2023, it was, like, hard to just be a person, to be a human. So I think then pushing through all that, and, like, that's, I think, why I've leaned so much into faith and, like, into this. The only reason I'm here right now is because it's not because of me. And if I thought I had to do all this just by myself, I couldn't. Like, yeah, it's like, it's part of the whole thing.
So how do you fully realize that what you're believing isn't real?
Exactly.
It's the place to be.
Oh my goodness.
The world's not ending. There's no RV.
When life goes on, I was like sure of it. Like at that moment, like we were all gonna like. At some point, I thought like rocket ships. We were gonna get in rocket ships and fly somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got there.
Is it like a bad trip that doesn't end?
But I didn't take. I mean, I smoked like a little bit of weed.
Yeah, but not sleeping for 3 hours will
3 days.
3 days. Sorry, Jesus.
What I will
3
say
days will
is
rearrange your chemicals.
that's what happened. So I was
For
at that point. I was like really
mess up your body.
focusing in on
Yeah.
the lawsuit that was happening, and I was like reading all of these documents from everything, and I was like trying to write, and that's right when ChatGPT was like taking off. So I was trying to like have ideas with ChatGPT, and I started. What's interesting, I took ChatGPT, and then I was like saying like, go with me here. Like if this was happening and the world was ending, what would I have to do to do this? And it would like scientifically break it down, and I'm like, this is what's happening. Like really crazy. Dude. Really crazy. I was
You were using ChatGPT to validate your delusion.
My psychosis.
Yeah, but you
episode.
want to. Do you not live in a little bit of fear, thinking it can happen again?
No, I don't think it'll ever happen again. I would have to like somehow get back to that. I don't think it's literally not possible.
Yeah.
I don't see that ever happening again.
Because it is true. Like you didn't sleep for 3 days, and what that does is like you lose chemicals in your brain. There's a whole different balance going on.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I could not imagine being a parent seeing my son going through that.
That was the scariest thing for them.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they were like,
Exactly.
it was bad. It was awful. I feel so bad that I had to put my family through that.
You didn't also choose that either.
No. But I also think like something that can contribute to that for sure is like growing up, and literally since I was 15 years old, like being on stage in front of so many people and then completely alone 2 hours later in your tour bunk, and like what that does to your dopamine levels, and like it's not stable. And so like I think after years and years of that, and then it goes completely silent, and then I lose everything, and I don't have anything, and then I'm staying up and
getting lost in the documents that ruined your fucking life. Yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't sleep for 3 days too.
Mm-hmm. So
totally.
That being said, pushing through all that, getting a manager, getting music out, going on tour,
dude.
Yeah.
Finding a girlfriend, having a song at top 40, going to Europe, talking with you guys. It's like, wow. In 2 years, I went from like not being even rooted in reality to like I'm making a life for myself again, and it's beautiful.
You should be so proud.
So thank you. And I don't want this to just be like, and I'm so great now, and whatever. Like, no, it's like we go through these things and whatnot. But I don't think I'll be back there.
But also things like that do make you a better, stronger human being and artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's all connected.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any like artists or anyone ever talk about psychosis. Like it's a crazy thing.
It's really scary.
It's real. So
yeah.
You're not alone.
I appreciate your honesty here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. And I'm glad we got to go there. Most places don't. I mean, this is the longest interview I've probably ever done, so this is cool.
It was cool to have you here alone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really great.
Yeah, it felt really great. So hopefully again sometime.
Your story needed to be shared. All of Jonah's music is waiting for you. Link below. Amazon Music. You good?
Yep.
Right.
Beautiful.
Jonah, everybody.
Monday.com is the best AI for work.
Well, I hope you enjoy that. Honestly, it's pretty cool how much stuff we talked about like Liam Payne and One Direction stuff. I'll see you guys out later. Bye, guys.